Did you see us do this on Yom Kippur? That's what I have to do right now. I'm sorry I forgot your name. All right, I'm going to sit down. Hine Matov.
Light, 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 tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad.
So we are now on the border of focusing on internal growth and on the season of awe to expanding our view to focus on the world. The beauty of the sukkah is that the schach can't be, here's my big graphic, it can't be like this, it has to be spread apart enough so that when we look up, we're aware of God and that we appreciate that we're not all that's important in the world. There is a custom, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday if you're in the area, or if you've already signed up. There's going to be a dinner here, and there is a custom on Sukkot to invite guests in general, but there's a category of people called the ushpizin, which must be an Aramaic word, which means the biblical matriarchs and patriarchs, and then Deborah the judge and Joseph. And the goal is to appreciate that after focusing on your own needs, that you are now part of the world, and that we are going to start doing mitzvot as soon as we can. The men put together a beautiful sukkah outside. The women almost did the same inside. And then they decorated it beautifully. And the first mitzvah in the Torah that a couple did was Hachnasat Orchim, welcoming guests. And so that's what this holiday is about. After weeks of thinking about yourself, we move forward. I would like to start, that was just a thought. So I want to share a reading that I found today. So it's not what's on the list, but it's still me. This is called The Big Ask by Rich Orloff. And the reason I chose it is we can't only talk about God on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. When we had a meeting of some people, I said, there's a great book called, it was about God, Finding God, by Rabbi Daniel Syme and Rabbi Rifat Zeno. So we'll come back to that, but I wanted to be sure God didn't get left behind after Yom Kippur. And then after this, I will call on our president for a few announcements. To God, to my ancestors, to anyone who will listen, I ask and pray for this. Bless me with a peace that's deeper than happiness, that makes room for profound sorrow, that accepts pain and loss, that's not dependent on good news. Bless me with a peace that comforts me when I feel anguish, that steadies me when I feel uncertain, that expands me when I think small, that finds a way through my fiercest resistance. Bless me with a peace that stretches beyond my horizons, that heals even if I can't explain why, that offers delight as an everyday gift that allows me to see blessings. Bless me with a peace that's a refuge from torment, that is an oasis from yearning, that's a sanctuary from trauma, that transcends all else, but never denies all else. And finally, bless me with a peace that renews my gratitude for life and that I can access every time I let you in. Final comment. Like some of us who have nicknames, Sukkot and also Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur has alternative names. And the best alternative name for Sukkot, which means Festival of Booths, is Zman simchatenu, the time of our happiness. So we're commanded to be happy, which could be a whole conversation. But it means that we don't only have to be serious as Jews and people that are with Jews for our holidays. We can be sure to appreciate the life as a gift, that we can be happy even if we're dealing with big things. And now, our President, Leslie Berger, for a few announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me? No.
There's another one right next to you.
It says me. Let's try the other one. Can you hear me now?
You don't need, hang on.
I was going to use that one. That's my next choice. Shabbat Shalom. Yay. Thank you. My name is Leslie Berger, President of Temple Beth Or. Thank you, Rabbi Muroff, for the meaningful Yom Kippur services. And thank you, Dr. Ray, for the beautiful melodies and for leading the High Holiday Choir. And of course, Ariel was an angel. This Tuesday is Sukkot Under the Stars at 6 p.m. and Friday is Simchat Torah Bring Your Own Dinner at 6:30. Still time to RSVP. For both, go to our website and RSVP. No charge to you. Welcome to Rena Strober as our guest soloist tonight. And the next Friday will be Steve Berman and then Miranda Maurer for the next two. Thank you, Rabbi Muroff, for leading services tonight, and Dr. Ray for the music. Thanks to Sherry Held for loaning her piano while the Clavinova is out for repair. It's going to be out a couple of weeks. And thanks to our tech team, Phil Carey, David Youngman, and Chris Jastrock. Great to see you back, David. Thank you, Helene Moss, for running the chat on YouTube. She's filling in for Susan, who took the night off. Thanks to our ushers, Dana and Toby Porter, and helpers for the greens. And the greenies tonight, you're too fast, Phil, go back. Thank you. Shabbat greetings from Ted and Noel Singer, Rita and Bob Rubin, and Jeff and Wilma Shear. Thank you for supporting, and the singers are here, and the Rubins are here, so thank you so much. And the flowers on the bimah are in honor of Sukkot by Sisterhood. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We like singing, and so we'll have an opportunity now. Rena will sing Shiru Ladonai, Sing to God. It is found on page 15.
Please feel okay to sing with me. I encourage it. I put it all in low keys for us. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. One more time. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. Sing unto God on the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Page 24, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The next part of our service is the candle lighting. This is the first prayer that I'll ask you to look at our supplement for, because tonight begins not only Shabbat, but if you've been watching our calendar, it is now Sukkot. As the sun set this evening, it is now Sukkot. And so I'd like two birthday buddies to come forward, Sandy and Donna. In the handout, it's on the reading is actually on 121, and then the blessing on 120. Please rise.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and into our lives.
Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to kindle the Shabbat and Yom Tov lights.
Thank you.
Oh, unaccompanied, sorry. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
And then at the bottom of the page, you see a prayer we say on festivals. And in my case, we also said it when we finished college. It's the Shehechianu. We're so grateful that we've made it to this time. Shehechianu, the bottom of page 120 in the handout.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechiganu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Baruch, oh, sorry.
Hang on, I think she wanted to do the
Blessed
translation.
are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life and sustained us and enabled us to reach this season.
Amen. Now Rena will do an
Baruch
enhanced version.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. So on page 149 in the handout, which is really the third page in the handout, there's a beautiful reading. And in case you're wondering why we have a handout, not only is it Sukkot, but there's a whole other Siddur where weekday and festival prayers are found, and it was just easier to pull out the few pages we needed for tonight. So I'm going to read the top half of page 149. Into this sanctuary we have brought the symbols of Sukkot. The lulav that resembles the human spine, may we stand straight with courage and integrity. The myrtle whose leaves are shaped like eyes, may we behold the beauty and grandeur of the universe. The willow whose leaves resemble human lips, may we offer enduring words. The etrog shaped like the human heart, may love guide us from selfishness to service. God of Israel, let our senses be filled with love for you and your will. Let our harvest be shared with all. It is now time for Lechadodi. Tonight, 1, 2, 5, and 9. And as is our custom for the 9th, we turn and greet the figurative Sabbath bride. Page 2021, sorry.
La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 lekrat kala, la 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 penei Shabbat nekabel, la 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 lecha dodi, la 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 lekrat kala, la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. La 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 lechadodi, la 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 lekrat kala, la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mikor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava techila. Lai 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 la 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 lechadodi, la 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 likrat kala, la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela. Hidoreri kiva orech kumi uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lai 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 la 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 lechadodi, la 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 lekrat kala, la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לי לי לי, לי 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 לך דודי, לי 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 לקראת כלה, לי 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. In a moment, it'll be time to move to the second half of our service. The first half is the prep part. I hope you're feeling that you've made a transition from the week. There is an organization called Adama, which means land. And so I just want to share something that they published. And it's important because we talk about Rosh Hashanah being the birthday of the world, but we don't really talk about what that means. And so now is the time as we get ready to be outside during Sukkot to think about what our relationship to the earth is. So this material I have, and it's not so long, begins with a quote from the first chief rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Abraham Yitzchak Kook, Abraham Isaac Kook. And Rabbi Kook, Rav Kook says, one should concentrate on being a part of the entire people of Israel with intense love and peace until it may be considered as if all of Israel dwells together in one sukkah. So they go on to say, to explain that, because it may not be obvious what he means, that we try to live at this organization like it's Sukkot all year long, living with the seasons, the harvests, our Jewish agricultural calendar, which is an aspect of Sukkot. Sukkot is both a time we remember when the Israelites were in the desert, hence the Sukkah, and it's one of the pilgrimage festivals. And one of the other names for the holiday is Atzeret. It's the end of the harvest. So most of us are not agrarian folks who farm every morning. So this is to remind us city dwellers that the land does bring forth much that helps us. Okay, so our Jewish agriculture calendar and rituals and traditions all are intertwined with the earth. So now we have finally arrived. Another name of Sukkot is Chag HaAsif, the harvest festival, is really here. They say there's nothing truly better than Sukkot. Together in the embrace of the Sukkah, like a hug, a womb, a harvest campout, an 8-day party celebrating life and love and community. Shabbat is the weekly dose of peace that gets us through the year, but Sukkot is understood as being an emotional peak of the Hebrew year. There's more that I could say, but I want to add that another name of Sukkot is Chag, the holiday. Not Passover, not Rosh Hashanah, not Yom Kippur, Sukkot. We've all celebrated Sukkot a few times. I've already mentioned for this year a couple of the highlights. So let that germinate and to think through, maybe also marinate, to use a food angle, because it's people, it's community, it's connecting with the world, it's helping other people, appreciating the earth, our bounty, being happy. Some people think it's called the holiday because we're finally behind, past the prayers, which help us appreciate, how seriously we have to approach life, because we talked during the first two holidays of the year about the tenuousness of life. But I think it's also okay to be happy, and the rabbis wanted us to remember that of all the things, living in community with others is key. Please rise for the Baruch Hu as the ark is opened. Officially acknowledge that it's a blessing to be together. That's what the Baruch Hu highlights. We have two blessings before, and we are this week going to go back to a custom of our community, which is to read the first blessing on page 30 entirely in Hebrew. It's there in transliteration, so whichever way you want to read it, or if English is your jam, you can follow along in the English. Top of 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim uvidfuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmorotehem b'rakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai Tsevaot Shemo. El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amari V'Aravim. Now we talk about everlasting eternal love, page 32.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amecha hafta Amcha hafta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nishmach divrei toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu vorech yameinu uvahem negei yom v'layla negem yom v'layla v'havatcha al tasir mimenu li'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please rise, page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol vavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinartam levanecha v'shibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'leftecha v'aderech u'shofbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu letotavot bein einecha u'chtartam am al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Liman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzi etchem mi'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
It is now time to go back in time to when the Israelites made it successfully through the Red Sea. And instead of just going, yay, they sang this song, Mi Kamocha. We're thanking God, page 40.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 la lai la lai 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 yai la 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 lai la 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 lai mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot sefelet nora tehilot osefelet. Malachutecha ra'u v'anecha bokei al yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Zeli anu v'yamru Zeli anu v'yamru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. One more time. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefelet Nora tehilot osefelet.
B'nei Amar ki fadad Adonai et Yaakov, v'galo miad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai gal Yisrael. So it is not Yom Kippur, so I have permission to be a little silly. So the question is, how many people here have ever been to New York? Rena, you?
Born and raised.
There we go. Anybody here? Oh, anyone else from New York? Leslie? Anyone go to college in New York? Okay. So Sukkot is when we are supposed to just be beginning the rainy season in Israel. We hope there'll be a little bit of rain.
Oy.
Exactly. So everybody together?
Oy.
So if you have friends and family in New York, or if you just like Broadway, you were probably worried today. So I was texting my nephew and his wife, and they said, we're glad we don't live on the first floor. And my nephew said, there are torrential rains all, and that was the morning. In the afternoon, I got an alert from the New York Times, so I clicked on rivers, like we had in California in the middle of the winter.
Rabbi Len, did you see that a sea lion, the water
Yes.
was so
In the
high,
Central
the
Park.
sea lion floated out of its encampment and just went to all the other animals to visit, and then they brought it back. It's the best article in the New York Times today.
So I think we just have to be connecting. I start on a silly note, but we all have, most of us it seems, have roots in New York and have been there, and we're just praying for the people that do live on the bottom floor and otherwise, and kids went to school today and parents had to wade through heavy water. It's hard enough getting through traffic to get to your kid. So this, like, our hearts go out to them, and we hope Israel gets rain because that's why we're here, but it was not a good day in the Big Apple. So we now continue with page 42, Hashkivenu.
I think we're just speaking this one.
We are just speaking it because we can't sing everything every week. So we do want peace in the world. So let's read together page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. I just want to call your attention to the Hebrew or transliteration, or in English they say shelter of peace. What is the word in Hebrew? Sukkot Shalom. So this is the official prayer of Sukkot amongst the ones we do regularly. So the sukkah isn't only to remember what happened to the Israelites in the desert, but for us to see it as a sign to seek peace and pursue it, which is another line in Jewish literature, and to have peace for everybody. So the blessing is Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom aleinu v'kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. So before we start singing V'shamru, I call your attention to page 146 in the handout, because after Rena sings the first half, we'll read together the words on the bottom, which are added for Sukkot. So either 44 in the Siddur or the handout on 146. Please rise for V'shamru.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. בני ובין, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם.
It is now time for the words at the bottom of 146. V'yadaber Moshe Modei Adonai el bnei Yisrael. And in case we're not sure what that means, and Moses declared the appointed festivals of Adonai to the people of Israel. Let's now turn to the ark. But first I have to read what I wrote, which is, please be sure that as you go through, you listen to the pages, because like on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we had liturgical speed bumps. There will be some here. So we will start together, but then after the blessing, Ha'el HaKadosh, you'll just wait for me to prompt you, but we'll be using the handout, and so just be ready. We begin together, page 46.
Adonai tzifatai titach ufi lagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imutenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chazdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii gula livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo bi'ava. Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Olam Adonai, all the time, Mashiach Hayim v'chesed, l'chayei ha'kol, rachamim rabim,
Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, u'mashir asurim, u'mekayem emunato, Lishenei afar,
Michamocha balimrot,
Umidom elam,
Emet makrim,
Tu mechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ne'emat atalakayot hakol,
Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol.
52. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. This is our first foray for this section to the handout. So the words are as follows, and it's on page 214 if you choose to follow. אתה בחרתנו מכל העמים, אהבת אותנו ורצית בנו, ורוממתנו מכל הלשונות, וקידשתנו במצוותיך, and you sanctified us with your commandments. וקרבתנו מלכנו לעבודתך, and you brought us close to your service, ושמך גדול וקדוש עלינו קראת. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, שבת למנוחה ומועדים לשמחה, Chagim uzmanim lesason. This is what we say at the Seder. Ved Yom HaShabbat hazeh, ved Yom. We skip to the bottom. Chag HaSukkot hazeh, Zman Simchatenu, Mikra Kodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim. Let me follow. And then the top of the next page. Let's do this in English. 3 in the handout. 3 times a year you shall hold a festival for me, said God. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, eating unleavened bread for 7 days, as I have commanded you. At the end of the month of Aviv, for in it you went forth from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty-handed. And the feast of the harvest of the first fruit of your work, of what you sow in the field, and the feast of ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather the results of your work from the field. The next page, 216. Eloheinu v'lei avotenu v'imotenu ya'alev yavo v'yizacher zichronenu v'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha l'tova u'lachenu u'lachesed u'l'rachamim u'l'chayim u'l'shalom, for life and for peace, b'yom chag HaSukkot hazeh. Then the middle of 216, Zachreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova, and we all say,
Amen.
Ufokteinu vo livracha,
Amen.
v'hoshienu vo l'chayim.
Amen.
Page 56, let me scoot ahead. Towards the top, find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants, pour out your Spirit upon us. We've already added the middle to the bottom. V'techazen eininu b'shuvacha l'tzion berachamim, baruch ata Adonai hamachazer shechinato l'tzion.
Amen.
So now we're going to express gratitude. That's in the middle of 58, and then we'll be ready for Shalom Rav. We acknowledge with thanks. So this is in the textbook again. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. V'al kulam yitbarach v'yitramam shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed, skipping the v'chol ha'chayim, Yedu chasela ha'eh, I skipped the line, V'yalu et shimcha be'emet, ha'el yoshvatenu v'ezratenu, sela baruch ata Adonai, atov shimcha ucha, na'eh lehodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Now we're at Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atah melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atah tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et amcha Yisrael bechol et uvechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
I think we need to take a deep breath. Page 253 is the Mishaberach. We're back to the Debbie Friedman tune after a different one on Yom Kippur that Ariel sang for us. I have a list of names. If you're at home, please be ready to put names in the chat. And the members of our online community will offer you support in our community. It's become our custom, as you know, to stop in the middle, but I just can't repeat every name. So when I pause after reading this list, I'll just move around, and you're welcome to say the names of your loved ones. And we think of the people in New York who are not only wet, but I'm sure was very traumatic, especially for the kids. It's really so sad that every week, a couple weeks ago was earthquakes, first Morocco, then Libya, now we're in the floods. We're getting ready for Pesach and the plague. So we just have to count our blessings. We begin with the Mishaberach, page 253.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We pray for the members in our community and others beyond our zip code who are in need of prayer. Sharon Gorin, Michal Sheckman, Carl Schumann, Barry Davis, Norman and Rona Singer, Howard Hoffman, Bruce and Kelly Gorin, Fred Malkin, Ted Levoot, Yardena Bat Esther, my friend Sue's daughter Jordy Glassner, her grandson Brody Glassner, her son Yonatan Ben Esther, Eileen Penso-Cohn, Izzy Weinberg, Shira Badina Vizaev, Nikki Freeman, Rachel Witt, Don Witt, Joseph Glazer, Donna's father, Donna's stepmom, Jesse Schneider Glazer, Marcia Mayton, Bracha Bat Leika, Harav Eliezer Ben Sion Ben Chaya Golda, Laura Block, Lori Wiesel, Fran Strauss, Robert Hagler, and I add two names every week silently, so if you have someone in your world that doesn't want the world to know what's going on with them, I add names and I just say them. So if you're holding someone in your heart and praying for them, now would be the time. We don't have to go section by section, just say the name and your neighbors will hear them. We continue with the second half of the prayer.
Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So I was in rabbinical school with a man who was older than us. Those of us who had come right from college, we looked up to our friend Alan Liu. He had been a Jew, then a Buddhist, and then obviously a Jew again because he was in rabbinical school with us. He has since written 2 books. One is One God Clapping instead of One Hand Clapping, and another that many, many people read before the high holidays. And he helped the Jewish world see that there is wisdom within Buddhism that could help us. Meditation is a big part of it. And today I was at a minyan in West LA where I try to go to be a congregant and sit in the back. And they said, oh, the rabbi's going to teach something. So I thought he would hand out a text. But it was a meditation. So in the 30 years since Rabbi Lou began to focus on meditation as a way for all of us to be able to calm our inside so we can have prayer be more effective, we've come to see that it's very common. So I have a reading from Ram Dass, who's a Buddhist teacher, and then we're going to close with the Buddhist prayer that Rabbi Adam Klickfeld, who shared it this morning. And in between, a very quick thing. I'm watching the time. I'm determined that this will be our shortest service ever. So Ram Dass, who was born a Jew, Richard Albert. He said, because now we've talked about water, now we're going to look at trees. Excuse me. So Ram Dass, Richard Albert says, when you go for a walk out into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees. And some of them are bent, and some of them are straight, and some of them are evergreens, and some of them are whatever. And you look at a tree and you allow it, you appreciate it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light, so it turned that way. And you don't get all emotional about it. You just allow it. You appreciate the tree. The minute you get near humans, you lose all that. And you are constantly saying, oh, you're to this, you're to that, or I'm to this, and I'm to that. The judging mind kicks in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. I want to share one other reading on trees. This comes from a poet named Ilan Shamir. It goes as follows. Dear friend, stand tall and proud. So I shouldn't slouch. Dear friend, stand tall and proud. Sink your roots deeply into the earth. Reflect the light of a greater source. Think long term. Go out on a limb. Remember your place among all living beings. Embrace with joy the changing seasons. For each yields its own abundance, the energy and birth of spring, the growth and contentment of summer, the wisdom to let go of leaves in the fall, the rest and quiet renewal of winter. Feel the wind and the sun and delight in their presence. Look up at the moon that shines down upon you and the mystery of stars at night. Seek nourishment from the good things in life, some of what the men and I were talking about before the service. Simple pleasures, earth, fresh air, light. Be content with your natural beauty. Drink plenty of water. Let your limbs sway and dance in the breezes. Be flexible. Remember your roots. Enjoy the view. So rather than read the other things I've set aside, I can do that another week. If 3 people, and this I will repeat for the people at home, although I could run down with the mic. I'll just repeat. So if 3 people would like to tell me, and the rest of us, because they'll be listening too, your favorite moment in nature. Ellie, what's your favorite moment in nature? Say it again.
Iguazu Falls.
Iguazu Falls.
Waterfall in Brazil and Argentina.
You know what? I think we're going to try to have you speak with this so that people don't get here, because you're very expressive and I will not be able to replicate it.
Okay. To me, nature is anything that's outside in the outsideness. When I was in Brazil and Argentina and we went to Iguazu Falls, If you think Niagara Falls is something, this is 25 times, maybe even 50 times bigger. And to me, just seeing this expanse of water cascading down and showering up was just something I never dreamed was going to be like what it was.
Thank you. And Joyce?
Pacific Grove in California, just outside of Monterey, the monarch butterflies. I saw the tree and it just looked like it was shimmering, and it was all the monarch butterflies that were there nesting. It really was in touch with nature.
Joyce? Is there anyone else? And I'll ask Joyce to bring the mic. Let's not only have people in the front. Why don't we give it to Sandy because it's her birthday, and then we'll come back to Dina if we have time. Don't throw it. Has anyone ever been to an aviary? I had never been to one, and where we lived in Georgia, there was an aviary. Oh my God, that was awe personified. Okay, Sandy.
Well, we went to British Columbia and we went all the way up to the very top of wherever. And my mom said, don't miss Lake Louise. And my husband said, I don't know if we have time. And I said, my mother said we have to go there. And it is absolutely the most gorgeous lake in the world, the color of the blue. And it's an old German hotel and an Umpampa band and fresh made ice cream, apple ice cream like apple pie. It was wonderful, and we've seen lots of things, but that was
I was there
a sight to behold.
in '89, and it was breathtaking. And we had
Yes.
taken a train from British Columbia into Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Louise is special.
British Columbia is beautiful, but that is extra special.
Thank you. I think we will work the mic. Oh, Dina, since you're right there, why don't you share quickly?
As most of you know, we recently came back from a tour of several national parks, 7 I think, I'm not sure. We were in 7 states in 13 days, and we saw so much that it's indescribable. And Chris's thousands of pictures don't do it justice, just the mountains and the trees and the lakes and the desert. It was absolutely incredible. This country and nature is just so full of beauty.
Thank you. I just want us all to go into the new year, not only with our own memories, but those of our friends, our family of friends that are here, and to venture out. I worked a little bit this past Monday, so on Tuesday I went by the Pacific Ocean, because the people in the middle of the country don't have an ocean, and so I go as often as I can. And then I posted pictures on Facebook, and people appreciate it. I used to think they'd be bitter, because it's so beautiful. And it just took my breath away. And so I encourage you to find, whether it's water or trees or forests, like even it doesn't have to be a vacation. Just remember even to go outside. And so I just encourage you as the year begins. So the transition to our song, and we're trying to have a song after my remarks, is the name of this song is Holy Ground. Because when we're outside, it's not just a stretch, but as we've heard from our friends, it's a chance to really appreciate the grandeur of God's holy world, holy ground.
Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way, where you stand, where you walk, where you love, where you praise, all of it is holy ground. Every he, every she, every what, every who, it's in her, it's in me, it's in them, it's in you, in the bitter, in the sweet, in the calm, in the storm. All of life is holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. When you hurt, when you heal, when you laugh, when you pray, when you doubt, when you keep, when you give it away. Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day. Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. One story, one journey, one tapestry we weave. One people, one glory, one legacy we weave. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way. Where you stand, where you walk, where you love, where you praise. All of it is holy ground. Can you feel the holy ground? Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground.
Please rise for Elena, page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach laton hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei aratzot, velo samanu kimishpechot Adonai, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vegor aleinu Adonai, vanachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
At this time, we acknowledge the death of our senior senator, Senator Dianne Feinstein, who died, I believe, it was early this morning. We send condolences to her daughter and stepchildren. In our congregation, we acknowledge the following individuals who died in the recent past: Leo Schmidt, of blessed memory, husband of Sylvia Schmidt. He died on the 3rd of September. And Robin Smith, the daughter of longtime member Dottie Roth. She died on the 13th of September. And most recently, and sadly, Jeffrey John Palmer, who is the nephew of Mike Kritschmar, and you may know that's his second nephew within a month or so who has died. And Jeffrey died on the 20th of September. We also recall the individuals in our community for whom the Kaddish of the year is being said: Ellen Hope Tews, Martin Becker, Nachama Fragoso, Allegra Gordon, Cyrus Chady, May Salinger, Sally Kravets, Myron Crystal, Molly Abraham, Phyllis Royce, Barbara Milton, Sandy Zwern, Myron Aschenbach, David Blochtien, Robbie Bush, Rita Manning, Jack Pivo, Harley Rockoff, Lily Kramer, and John Emery. Yahrzeits this week are for Evelyn Lofsche, Jerry Treff, Morton Leo Denwitt, Francie Cohn Melnick Starr, Edward Maltz, Richard Grossman, Herman Altman, Ralph Koizim, Cantor Paul Levins, Joseph Wolf, and Catherine O. Salisbury. If there's anyone in the room who has a loved one whose name was not called because we didn't know, please call it out now, and I'll do my best to repeat it. And if you're watching at home and there's someone that falls into any of these categories, please put the name in the chat. Is there anyone here who has a loved one whose name you'd want shared with the community? Thank you. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach hirute v'amlich malchute v'chayechon v'yomechon uchaye dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach leolam umei omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitboar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'richu ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiram v'alma v'imru Amen. Oseh Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Please remain standing. Dr. Ray, are we up? I don't think we have to add to the number of soloists you work with because she's been here before. But I'm very grateful for the hard work you've put in this season, Dr. Ray, and ever since I started. We thank Rena for coming back, and she'll be here the last Friday of October. I had to pause. The days are all flowing. It's the end of September. We'll see you in a month. Anyone else we missed? Jody in the kitchen, we thank you. You're here and so reliable. And thank you to Leslie for making announcements every week. Thank you to Donna and Sherry for the keyboard, and Donna's family, and everyone else's family that picks everybody up. And to Sandy and Donna for your birthdays. Oh, should we sing happy birthday?
Yes. Yom Huledet
Sameach,
Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach.
Well, we're not going to sing Skip Around the Room, right?
I
We'll
mean,
do
we
that in
could.
Bolte maybe then. We can do it there.
We'll do
Okay,
it.
so there is a special kiddush. Let me get mine without spilling it
Oh,
on the
right.
recently cleaned
Right,
carpet.
Right.
So the kiddush is found on page 122 in the little handout. And this is exactly the same kiddush as we do at the beginning of the Passover Seder, except the words are not for Passover, but we'll add one little line for Sukkot. Are we ready? I think it's the last page in the handout.
Yeah, just look at the back. Flip the whole thing back. Yep.
Va'erev yivoker yom hashishi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, v'ramamanu mikol hashon, v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav. V'titen lanu Adonai leinu b'ahava. Read the brackets. Shabbat limnucha u'moadim l'simcha, chagim u'zmanim l'sason. Et yom haShabbat hazeh, et yom third choice, Chag haSukkot hazeh, zman simchatenu, mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat u'moedei kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon v'simcha uv'sason hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim l'chaim. I think it was you, Rena, who started the idea that if there's anybody who had a good week, they could come up and do the motzi with you.
love that.
We did it one other time, and the first time you did it, the person in the back row came up because they had a beautiful week of great medical news.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone here that had a good week, anybody do anything fun last Monday that's worthy of celebrating? No, okay, sorry. Anybody since Monday? No good news today, this week? Say it again.
What? What do you
We
mean you
did-
did Les Mis? So
What does
did
that
I
mean?
for 4 years.
Then
What?
come up here. What was that?
You saw it? Yes. How was it? Yeah.
Okay. So come up and you can do motzi, maybe to
I
the
wonder if
tune.
we can do a tune.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Do you know any of the music?
Do I know the music? I wore dirt for 4 years of my life in that show. Wow. I mean, that would be so cool. My brain is now like, I dreamed a dream. I am going to mess it up. So we'll just do the standard.
A dream of motzi? No?
Yes. Hamotzi lechem haaretz. Where is it? Oh. Oh, there's always like, oh, thanks to God for bread. Voices. It's like Valjean. He stole the bread.
Yes.
Or voices. I don't see it.
Okay, then we'll have it in the back.
Okay, we'll do it in the back.
Karen?
Last time it wasn't a little thing.
Everybody in India and Brazil is hearing us scream for her. Let's look to the front. It'll show
There,
up.
she's getting it. She's
Our
coming,
voices
yes.
join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech olam.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Yum, yum, yum. Thank you, Jody. Thank you,
If that's
Jerry.
not more Les
Thank
Mis,
you.
I don't know what is. I mean,
So maybe next time we'll sing Les Mis songs after services
Yeah.
in the back with,
we'll
okay.
do it. Thank you.
So it's not fair, but I have to do a reading with challah in my mouth. So the closing song, first of all, thank you to everybody. I know you all would have been justified sitting at home with your feet on your coffee table and watching us on your laptop. But Dr. Ray and Rena and I appreciate you coming out. There's really, nothing like being part of a community, and thank you. The closing meditation is adopted from a Buddhist prayer. Rabbi Adam Klickfeld shared this with us today. May we and all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. May we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all.
Chaim.
Oseh Shalom. Thank you, Rena. Thank you, Dr. Ray. Sing us out.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Thank
Shabbat
you,
shalom.
everybody. It might be raining tomorrow, so if you're driving, please be careful. Be nice to each other. Shabbat shalom and Chag
Shabbat shalom.
Sameach.
Ya'aseh shalom.
Shabbat shalom.